Hello everyone, how are you today? Okay, this is the video of my reading of the second story in our course. This is the story of an hours, which was written by Chopin. This story I divided into two parts. This is the first part, and right now I'm going to read this story for you, and you all have to read after me and try to make note some vocabulary which you don't understand or you cannot find a correct meaning. You can write those vocabulary under the link below, under the link which I sent to you through the YouTube. Okay, so let's start together with the second story, part 1, the story of an hours by Chopin. Knowing that Mrs. Mallard was afflicted with a heart trouble, great care was taken to break to her heart as gently as possible the news of her husband's death. It was her sister Josephine who told her, in broken sentences, hints that revealed in half concealing. Her husband's friends Richard was there too, near her. It was he who had been in the newspaper office when intelligence of the railroad disasters was received, with Bentley Mallard's name leading the list of killed. He had only taken the time to assure himself of its truth by a second telegram, and had hastened to forestrolls or any less careful, less tender friend in bearing the sad message. She did not hear the story as many women have heard the same, with a paralyzed inability to accept its significance. She wept at once with sudden wild abandonment in her sister's arms. When the storm of grief had spent itself, she went away to her room alone. She would have no one follow her. There stood, facing the open window, a comfortable, roomy armchair. Into this she sank, pressed down by a physical exhaustion that haunted her body and seemed to reach into her soul. She could see in the open square before her house the tops of trees that were all aquiver with the new spring life. The delicious breeze of rain was in the air. In the streets below, a peddler was crying his wares. The notes of a distant song which someone was singing reached her faintly, and countless sparrows were twittering in the eaves. There were patches of blue sky showing here and there through the clouds that had met and piled one above the other in the west facing her window. She sat with her hand thrown back upon the cushion of the chair, quite motionless, except when a sob came up into her throat and shook her, as a child who has cried itself to sleep continues to sob in its dreams. She was young, with a fair, calm face, whose lines bespoke repressions and even a certain strength. But now there was a dull stare in her eyes, whose gaze was fixed away off yonder, on one of those patches of blue sky. It was not a glance of reflection, but rather indicated a suspension of intelligent thought. There was something coming to her, and she was waiting for it fearfully. What was it? She did not know. It was too subtle and elusive to name, but she felt it creeping out of the sky, reaching toward her through the sounds, the scents, the color of that filled the air. Now her bosom rose and fell tumultuously. She was beginning to recognize this thing that was approaching to possess her, and she was striving to beat it back with her will as powerless as her two white, slender hands would have been. When she abandoned herself, a little whispered verse escaped her slightly parted lips. She said it over and over under the breath. Free, free, free. The vacant stare and the look of terror that had followed it went from her eyes. They stayed keen and bright. Her pulses beat fast, and the coursing blood warmed and relaxed every inch of her body. She did stop to ask if it were or were not a monstrous choice that held her. A clear and exalted perception enabled her to dismiss the suggestion as trivial. She knew that she would weep again when she saw the kind, tender hands folded in that, the face that had never looked safe with love upon her, fixed and grey and that. But she beyond that bitter moment a long procession of years to come that would belong to her absolutely, and she opened and spread her arms out to them in welcome. Okay, this is the end of the first part of our second story, the story of an hour. So after this, I hope you read, follow me, and try to understand this part 1 together. And I also hope that you all will have some difficult words for me. You can ask me by comment on below or the link which I sent to you. Okay, thank you so much for your listening to my reading, and read after me. Thank you very much. See you next video.